Tejaswini. Hello, everyone.
Good
Yes.
evening, and yes, so welcome to Transform Her Learning Hub for Women. And we have this Knowledge Nugget series every month where we touch on different topics on monthly basis. And from the last few months, we have started this great initiative of the Power Hour with our guest, with a special guest. And our special guest today is Kavita Shah Awasthi for the month of September. Welcome, Kavita.
Thank you, Tejaswini. Thank you so much.
Okay, so just before we begin, let us first thank our members for being a part of this learning hub, which is especially for women. This is for the transformation programs that go on. And we are in the Facebook Live Knowledge Nugget series. And as usual, I'm excited to be here. So some of the people who don't know me, who have just entered into the group, are new to the group, let me give a short introduction. My name is Tejaswini Prasad. I'm a business strategist and a transformation expert and an author of 10 Secrets to Enrich Your Entrepreneurial Journey. And you are going to get the link of this book into the Learning Hub as soon as you join in. Yeah? So just a bit from me to the people inside this group. So Transform Her is an initiative to energize, empower, and elevate women to take inspired actions, grow their brand, and create an impact in building their business and career or a life they love. And my ultimate goal and mission for this group is to share knowledge, to share expertise, success, failures, and actionable strategies to help you achieve your goals and your dreams. So let's get started. Let's invite this beautiful guest of ours, Kavita. I am really happy and a warm welcome to you.
Extremely happy to be here also. Thank you, Tejaswini, so much for getting me here on Zest Transformation. Lovely.
Lovely. So let me give introduction of Kavita. Kavita is a computer engineer turned fashion designer. Wow. And today we want to know the story from you, Kavita. She is a proprietor of Workshop, which is a boutique that she runs for the past 26 years. It specializes in customized designing and tailoring, especially something for you women, the blouses, the Indian Western wear, the corporate wear, the customized t-shirts. You go for it and you'll find it in Poshak. So amazing place. One should always, you should visit. If you have never, you should. And actually has done a lot of work. She has a boutique dealing in natural Indian fabrics in various cotton, silk, and from 14 states of India. And she has a team of over 30 years and designers with her. That's pretty big, right? So she has been on various panels. She has been judging various performances. She has been judging RSI. What is that? Making Ball. That was in 2004. She was there in the annual fashion show, GRVGIT. You need to have the full forms for me here. I don't know what it means. The fashion industry, people from there would definitely know. This was in 2009. Flames University Fashion Show, which was conducted in 2014. NIFD. These are the names that we know. NIFD Fashion Show. So she has been a judge at various places. If you see most of the fashion destinations, we can say. Okay, she has also been, actually given lectures on various forums like Women Industrialists of Maharashtra at the Kalmadi School, Times and Trends Fashion Academy, in Modern College for entrepreneurs, teachers, students. And her topic is appropriate dressing. And today she's actually going to be talking to about these things, what is appropriate dressing, just then being dressed for an occasion. I would love to hear that. She's also a senior director at the Business Network International, which is one of the biggest networking organizations. She is a registered mentor and fashion consultant at Ayasra Foundation, which is an NGO run by Persistence System. She is a mentor at Tanishka, which is an initiative by Sakal Group, and a host for online channels. Right? Online channels. How many places? It's like hobbies, passion for people with. It has a following for more than 36 countries. So that particular channel, Kavita speaking on 36 countries over there. That's what she does. Director in the company Stonewall Ventures Private Limited that builds and manages resorts all over India with over 13 eco-friendly restaurants. Wow, that's wonderful. Kavita, how do you manage all this and how do you find so much time to do all these things? Yeah. We would really want to know about all this. So tell us about your story. How did you get from computer engineering to fashion designing?
Yeah, well, that is quite a journey. Yeah, I did do my computer engineering because I came from a family of doctors, and it was just assumed that girls have to either do medicine or engineering. I was just about 18 then, and it really picked up well. We got into this line when there wasn't so much of competition in the market. So I guess I was slightly luckier back then. But yes, things just happened. They felt in place, and it's been a nice journey. It's really been nice. It's 26 years now, and here I am, still.
Okay.
I love what I do, and fortunately I get a chance to do what I love. So I think that is really nice.
I think that's how, when the passion makes you work, all these miracles start happening, and then you don't feel that you're doing so much. It's just a part and parcel, right? Wow. Okay, so somebody writes, wow, that's amazing. Let us look at the people who are writing this. Okay, Hitul and Geeta. Okay, thanks, Geeta. That's nice to know, right? Kavita, I want to know from you, like today's topic is all about formal dressing. What is the difference between formal dressing and appropriate dressing, right? So tell us more about it. Can you just elaborate? Let us know what exactly it means.
See, one of the things that I always like to say, and I completely believe in it, is that we don't always get a second chance to create that right first impression. That first impression, whether or not we like it, is always our attire. It's always the way we are dressed. That is what 99% of the times creates the first impression. So people are going to judge you by your outermost appearance. I mean, even when you go to pick up a chocolate or a gift, you would always want it wrapped properly. So your garments are your wrapping, so to say. So it has to look good. Especially I feel when you're going to meet a client or a meeting or a conference or some kind of presentation. Even before you actually start talking, it's going to be that attire of yours which people are going to judge you by. The first. After you start talking, of course, that's a different thing. Even at all these times, we always say that sometimes during presentations or conferences, especially when you go to meet a client, there is a notion that if I'm well dressed, it means I'm done. But there is a very big difference in being well dressed and being appropriately dressed. I'm actually going to give you an example here.
Mm-hmm.
If you were wearing one of your very heavy saris, probably a paitani or a nice woven sari, you will say that I am well dressed, right? A paitani means I am going to be really well dressed. The point is, if I have worn a paitani for a client meeting, am I appropriately dressed? Definitely not. The same way, would you ever wear one of your very nice blazers to a beach? You wouldn't. You are well dressed, you're wearing a blazer and a perfect pair of trousers, but that's not the place. So that is why I always say, please think about where you are going, to whom you are going to meet, what is the kind of atmosphere, is it an office, is it a factory, and think about that and then dress up and go appropriately. That's what I mean by saying that. Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. I think that's so much of a perfect analogy of being and the paitani in the. So you know what? I also feel sometimes like people I have seen, they just want to use up whatever is there in their wardrobe, and they want to say that okay, chal, आज ये पहन लो, अभी बहुत दिनों से इसको पहना नहीं है. Whether you're going for a meeting or whatever, I have seen people, coming for business meetings also at times with those long, heavy, earrings and some, heavy work. Kurtas or whatever for that sake. So I can completely understand what you're saying, and that's very important for being well dressed and appropriate people. If you're just going out casually, that's all okay. But true. Now, one more thing. Women tend to shop a lot, right? Will you agree? I think all the women out here, we love shopping. We just love shopping, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, what are some of the common mistakes, or what are some of the things that women should bear in mind when they are buying stuff for themselves?
Yeah, that's a nice question. Of course, we love shopping. I mean, I feel that the economy of India runs because of women like us who shop all the time. Definitely, we really add to the GDP of our country, of course. If we wouldn't stop, so many things would just stop, obviously. But yes, I think for all the ladies who have joined in today, I think I won't be wrong in saying that a lot of times we pick up a garment and then we go home and we say, I wish I had not bought this and I wish I had bought something else. And then you go back and you want to go and exchange a garment, and then there's a huge hue and cry at home. Either somebody at home or your mom or your husband will run up and tell you, why can't you think before you shop? Why do you need to go and exchange something? I think this is a situation that a lot of us have got into a lot of times. So yeah, there are a few, I would say, shopping tips that when you go out to buy garments, you must keep in mind. One of them being, please do try your garments before you pick them up, because we just look at the size label and we pick up the garments. Whether they're t-shirts, whether they're shirts, trousers, denims, your blazers, jackets. The point is,
hey, we lost your voice.
Alright, am I audible now? Yes, am I audible?
Yeah. Yes, you're audible now. Yeah.
Yes, okay. So like I'm saying, when you go to a store or a mall, or even if it's a small outlet, every store has their own size chart. They have their own way of labeling and putting the size on it. So you cannot say that a standard M size is going to be the same everywhere. It's always better to try on the garment. This is a lot of times when you make the mistake, because they have decided to go and change that. You realize it's not your size, rather. Okay, so that's one of the things you always try on your garment. Secondly, I have this friend of mine. She's always trying to lose weight. She's always having green tea, always running to the gym, always talking about her walks and her cycling and everything. She has this very weird habit. She always smaller than what she requires. She says it will give her a little bit of motivation to lose weight. But as a result of this, there are loads of unused clothes in the wardrobe. So this is also a situation which I have come across with a lot of ladies, where you shop in the hope that your weight will change. It could be losing weight or it could be gaining weight. They're just in here laughing. I think they probably have come.
I can, you know what? I always think the other way around. Abhi main ye nahi lungi, because you know what? I think I need to lose some weight and then come back over here. So okay, that's interesting. When you buy something with a motivation to fit into it is interesting. Yeah.
Get something at that time that fits you right. Do not buy something in the hope of you changing your size or your weight. When that happens, you can tackle it. That's a different thing. You end up having a lot of garments that don't get used. So that's another thing. Third, there is always a confusion on whether you should buy expensive garments or you should buy cheaper garments. We feel that because we want more variety, we end up buying cheaper garments and leaving out the expensive ones. So this is something which you need to remember. It is better even if you buy one expensive garment that you feel you will wear every day, rather than getting 2 or 3 cheaper garments which you'll probably wear just once in 3 months. Doesn't make sense.
True. Absolutely.
Always look for comfort. Always look for something that looks good on you after you wear it. Even if it is expensive, pick that up. It'll give you a better return on your investment, so to say. Okay?
True.
And of course, one very important thing I also feel is I'm actually going to ask some of the audience who's here. So when we see a movie, we see a particular kind of style or a dress on a particular heroine, and we think, wow, that looks so cool. I want to try that style. In fact, many years ago, there was this movie which came in.
We lost your voice.
Called Veer Zara. Yes. Sorry, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, now you're back. Yes.
Yes. Sorry, technology can't help sometimes. So I remember going to this movie called Veer Zara and Love Ajkal. I actually had to go and see Veer Zara because in a span of 4 hours, 6 to 7 ladies came and told me, I want what she's wearing. So I actually didn't have it on the net. So I actually had to go and see that movie to see what style was in. And then came this craze of Love Ajkal, where they had these short flared kurtas on denims, which everybody was wearing. Now my point is, it's looking nice on them. They are paid to look nice. Not all of us have that structure. Like I was saying, please do not judge the look of a garment based on how the model looks in it. It's very important to judge your own size, your own height, your own age, very importantly, before buying something. There was this... Tejaswini, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Continue, Kavita.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So there was this phase in between where everybody was wearing neon colors. They were wearing these bright and loud colors. I think it's only right. They were in fact animal prints which came in between. So I would only suggest to the ladies, please judge your own size, your background, your age before you actually go out and buy something like this. Because what happens is, I know loads of people who shop, they shop online because they like a look, and then you end up with a disastrous look, and then you're kind of running from here to there to get those outfits altered because they don't look nice on you. So yes.
And I think in the process you never use it. You do whatever with it and then you never intend to use it, right? Okay. So
you end up not using that.
Yeah. So ladies, yes, as I told you, keen your questions. We'll take it at the end because we had this network issue. I'm just asking you to be ready with your questions. But yeah, Kavita, I have another one which I want to ask you is like, rather even for quite some years now, there is this sense that people or women should have about, the type of lipstick, the type of nail colors, the outfit they have. All this sometimes is completely a mismatch.
I'm not able to Give me a second. I'm not being able to hear you. I'm just going to switch networks, okay? Just give me a second.
Okay, come back. Yeah.
Yes, Tejaswani, am I audible now?
Yes, absolutely. Pretty clear.
Okay, yeah, sorry, you were saying something. Yes.
So I was asking you, it's not only with the dress that you wear, but certain accessories or certain things, in terms of your hair, your lipstick, your nail paint, whatever. So I think that also carries a lot of importance. Like, for example, in business meetings, you're wearing neon nail, polishes or nail paints. Tell us about that.
So yes, some of the common dressing mistakes that some of us do come across is, for one of the main thing which for sari lovers, for all those ladies who like wearing saris, please keep one thing in mind. It is considered bad fashion sense to have your heels showing below the sari. So always ensure that you wear your footwear first and then drape your sari so that your sari touches the base of the heel. It should touch the floor. It should not touch your heel and then you have your heels showing below that. Your sandal heels showing below that. Okay? That's one of the points. Also, much as we would like to, or much as a lot of ladies do say, it's not fashionable to show your inner garments. It's not fashionable. These days, there is a trend to do that, because I actually had a lady who turned around and said, yeah, so what? If it's expensive and I show it, so what's the harm in it? I don't want to spend on it. But yes, it's not stylish to show your inner garments. So try and match the color and of course to your outfit. Lipstick, yes. When you go to meet a client, please do not wear dark, especially red lipstick. If you want to wear nail polish, either you have neutral color nail polish, or if you want to wear dark colors, ensure that your nail polish is not chipped. The mindset is, if your nail polish is chipped and if you cannot take care of your own grooming, what is the guarantee that you will take care of the project that I'm trying to give you? The client mindset might change, that this person cannot take care of herself. How will she take care of the order that I'm placing? So either you wear nail polish which is proper, or leave out the nail polish completely.
Absolutely.
Also, there is wrong jewelry. If you're going for a meeting where you're going to be presenting something, you cannot have long earrings. You cannot have dangling earrings. You cannot have heels that make a tick-tock sound, or you cannot have bangles or bracelets which are chum-chum all over. These are little things which we don't consider when we're getting ready. But for a client, if you're constantly fidgeting with your dupatta or your sari or your hair, it shows that you're nervous, or you're not prepared, or it means that you're not well groomed, you're not comfortable with what you're wearing. So otherwise, for a kitty party or a wedding or a party, everything is fine. But when it comes to a client or a formal presentation, you need to ensure that all these things are in place. You cannot keep fidgeting with what you're wearing. That's the bottom.
Absolutely.
Questions, yes?
Yeah, that answers the question. And even going ahead, it's not only with the tip nail polish or whatever. Even your nails should be groomed properly. If you cannot maintain it, people like me, I do not, because I just cannot maintain. I just can't put that time to really file them. So,
but I think that's true with a lot of us, which is okay. That's not a problem. But yeah. Then don't wear nail polish at least.
I don't even know them. If you think, oh my god, no ways, I can't. That's a good input, Kavita. And of course, you know what? With seasons, there are a lot of color palette, or the season match. Would you want to give or throw some light on this? I think that's so important, right?
Yeah. One of the things that you also go wrong with is wearing a wrong color at the wrong time of the day. When it's really hot and you're stepping out blazing red or an orange in the morning, it can really put the other person off. Yeah. Or a parrot green or a neon green. Yeah. So there is actually a color palette for seasons that is used, depending on which season we are in. There is something called as warm colors. When we say a red or a yellow, maybe an orange, a maroon, shades of mustard, shades of rust and orange and brown. These are all what we call as warm colors. So most of the time, these are the colors which are
I think it's got caught up again, and we've lost the connection. Yeah, let's wait for her to be back again.
Yes, Tejaswini.
Yeah, you're back. Okay, fantastic. We were talking about the colors, and that's so interesting.
Yeah, so the warm colors. So you should try and remember that these colors are what you can combine with an off-white or a cream or a beige, maybe a black.
Mhm.
These are the colors which cannot be worn with white. There are the cooler colors which should be combined. So if you're thinking of combining this with your shalwars or leggings or trousers, typically warm colors are worn with off-white, cream or beige, not with a white.
Mm.
Then there are the cool colors, what we call pastels, which make us feel cool. These are typically the lighter pinks or the greens, the blues, the lavenders. These are colors which are normally combined with white. These are the ones which can be worn during summers. Okay, I actually have a picture here which shows the warm and the cool colors. If you can see that. See that? All these colors on this
Okay,
side.
yes, we can see the warm colors.
And the ones at the top, there are all the warm colors. Okay. So these are the kind of
Yes.
things typically you can try and wear. So what we're saying is in summers, you wear light colors or the pastel shades. In the winters, it's dull outside. So you should typically be dressed in fresher colors, the bright colors, so to say. The monsoons, obviously, because it's to do with getting dirty and things, you try and wear dark or earthen tones during this time. Okay, there's one more point which I would like to make here. When you wear warm colors, you wear typically gold jewelry. When you wear pastels or light colors, you combine it most of the times with silver jewelry. So that's how, if you want to decide, should I wear oxidized or silver or should I wear gold? It's a better way of deciding. Warm with gold, cool with silver. It looks better that way.
Lovely.
Right?
That's a wonderful input. Yeah, that's a pretty lovely input. Yeah. So as you said, like we go shopping, women do that, and then we have so many things that we never wear. It's all lying in the wardrobe probably. Maybe ek baar, do baar pehna hai, and you don't know what you do with it. So what do you suggest for such things which is lying in your wardrobe, and because you spend so much money over it, and what do you suggest here, Kavita?
This is a problem with a lot of us. Typically, I think all of us have unused saris in the house. It is such a problem. What to do with saris or in the house, which we don't know what to do with. Sometimes we have good tops or kurtas, which are good, but either we don't fit into them, or it's a little out of style, or maybe it's run color somewhere, or things like that, which you have lying. Okay, there is something called as upscaling of old outfits. Okay, so one of the things what you should do when you're also shopping is store the outfits in your cupboard according to the colors. Otherwise, typically we end up buying the same color over and over again. So if you have them color wise in your cupboard stacked up, you will know which colors you have extra. So you will know which colors not to buy, so to say. Okay. Now there is this trend of having a lot of kurtas and jackets where you don't need to wear dupattas. So your old dupattas can actually be converted to make either tops, short tops, or kurtas, or some stylish jackets and things like that. In fact, there's also a very nice way of combining 2 or 3 unused saris, maybe the pallu of one and the border of one and the fabric of a third one, into a new sari. So that way you use up your sari and you don't need to go out and buy new outfits. Okay. Saris, of course, are being cut up every day to make Indian or Indo-Western outfits. On an average, we're cutting up 2 or 3 saris every day that ladies get to us because they don't know what to do with them. They don't want to wear saris anymore. There is also a trend of having pre-stitched saris where it's like wearing a skirt and just draping your pallu and you're off. You're ready to leave. It's as simple as that. Also, for all of you who have these heavy kanjivarams and silks and these things, it's a very good idea to convert the pallus of these saris into nice blouses. They'll make a blouse and the remaining sari you can cut up and make something else out of that. Because it's, like we said, there's a lot of trend of mix and match which is happening these days. So you can have neutral khan blouse, or you can have a zari blouse made out of a pallu, or just some common things which you can kind of mix and match. That's for saris. Otherwise, you can have some common colored leggings or trousers which you can wear with a lot of kurtas. And it's a good idea to have 3 or 4 solid plain colored kurtas. Then you can just mix and match with a lot of things. So it looks like you're wearing a new outfit every time. Things like this also help.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Aha, that's a good one. I think we have so many clothes lying inside, and Kavita, I'm sure people watching this either live or on the replay would start recollecting abhi kya kya andar wardrobe mein hai and what is it that I can do. And I think what best people can do is approach me. You get whatever mix and match done and do whatever it takes. Superb. That was a very good input, and I think yes, it also gives you a pleasure of you pada hua tha and now I've made some use out of it. So there's a whole lot of satisfaction. How much you use it and you use it all the time.
You can just revamp your wardrobe with what you have itself. You don't need to always go out and shop. Yeah.
Absolutely. So tell us about, you talked about you having so many karagirs, you have so many designers, but I am sure every lady over here would have gone through this experience of tailoring blunders. Right? कभी ना कभी जिंदगी में सबके साथ ये हुआ है. So what is it, some basics that people need to know when they are, because sometimes it's really expensive material. You end up paying so much for the tailoring cost. Tell us what is it that should be looked into, I think.
Okay, one of the things before I move on to the blunders. One of the blunders that you make while shopping also, I would say, one of the strict things that should be a no-no for every lady's wardrobe is a skin-colored or a cream-colored legging. A white or a cream or a beige legging should never ever be worn. If you look at it from a distance, it unfortunately looks like you're not wearing anything.
I swear, I remember this incident. I saw one lady once, and I thought, what is she wearing? But her leggings was like skin color. That was like at a distance. I can so relate to when I saw that lady. I was like, what people are wearing.
Yeah. So yes, it's. I know it's very convenient. You just go out and pick up that, and it just matches all your kurtas. But please try and have dark colored leggings. It helps better. Also, always buy one size of legging bigger than what you need, because leggings tend to cling very badly and they also tend to shrink. So it's always better to buy one size bigger than an absolutely perfect fit. Always remember that when you're buying leggings. It helps.
True.
And as far as the tailoring mistakes go, since we've been into tailoring for a good 25-26 years now, some of the things that we say, we have an Indian structure, ladies. There are some things which are hereditary which we cannot avoid. That is just how we are made. So when you're typically for the shorter ladies who are a little heavy, try and avoid short kurtas. Do not wear kurtas which end above your knee. Always have the kurtas below your knee level, the longer kurtas. So from below the knee up to your ankle, whatever length you're comfortable with is fine. It's not a problem. Secondly, if you're a slightly heavy size, please do not wear flared kurtas or the anarkalis, so to say, which have come in. Avoid those things. Avoid anything which has gathers around the top section. Also, if you are a person who likes wearing leggings, avoid wearing short kurtas on leggings. Leggings were basically made to replace churidars, and churidars were made to team up with long kurtas, not with short kurtas. You can only wear short kurtas if you have a terrific height and a terrific structure. But otherwise, there are very few ladies who can carry it on. So try and avoid short kurtas with leggings. Okay? Very thin ladies should avoid wearing very fitted kurtas. It makes you look really skinny. Then also, if you are, like we say, Indian structures, we tend to have slightly heavier hips. Again, they should avoid wearing too many flared or short kurtas and things like that. Okay? And it's not considered good tailoring sense to have the length of the salwar in such a way that it goes below your heel, or it should not be above the ankle. It should rest on your heel perfectly. So, if you're giving your measurement for the trouser or the salwar, make sure that the person takes the length correctly. That's typically it's supposed to be. Okay? So yeah, I think some of these are what we always say. If possible, try and wear brighter colors or fresher colors near your face. It tends to make you look fresher. So these are some of the things. It's not important always to have very expensive clothes, but it's definitely necessary to have ironed clothes when you're wearing them, of course. Very basic rules, but yeah, they do matter.
True. Wow. So those were great do's and don'ts, what you should be doing, and of course the tailoring stuff that you talked about is also pretty interesting. Great. It was fantastic. And anything more you want to add, Kavita? Something that I did not ask. And of course we have, the people watching also asking you questions. But just before that, you want to add something so that we can move to the audience for the questions.
Yeah, that's what I feel. One of the points which I always say to all the ladies is, when you are buying something, please buy what you like. Do not buy what your friend who has come with you, or your maushi, or your chachi, or your mom. Don't buy what they like. You decide what you like, because what you like is what suits you better. Somebody else might not know your comfort level. So please stick to what your own opinion is. Do not buy with the opinion of others. I've had a situation where I've had very recently a to-be bride who came in with her mother-in-law, and they both had completely different views on what should be worn. And I got stuck because both of them wanted me to side both, and then I didn't know whose side to take. Normally, it helps if the person who is wearing takes the decision. Even if you're wearing, take your own decisions. It's very dangerous to go by somebody else's choice, is what I would always say.
True. Everybody has a different flavor and choice completely. And that may not necessarily make you feel confident in whatever you want. So, absolutely a wonderful input. Okay, so moving to asking your questions, and I have one question here, Kavita, which is how to identify our body type and then decide what to buy.
In Indian structure, you typically, though there are about 5 or 6 body types, but there are 2 basic body types which we would say, where you're smaller on the top and a little heavier at the bottom, or the reverse. either of those two body types you fit into, which normally have a problem. For others who have a perfect structure, it's never an issue. You can always go and pick out what you like. Even a very simple white shirt will still look nice on you. But otherwise, now for those ladies who feel they have a slightly bigger midriff or a slightly bulging stomach, it's good to have slightly A-line kurtas, but have them long. And if you're wearing a kurta, drape the dupatta in such a way that it covers your stomach. Drape it on one side. So the attention towards the stomach is not too much. Avoid wearing very big prints, so to say, because they highlight the midriff. If you are the kind of person who would want to wear tops or shirts, make sure that they are just below the hips. They shouldn't be too long and definitely not short, because they're going to protrude on the stomach. That shouldn't happen. And try and avoid tucking in of your tops or shirts. If you have that, definitely no pockets on the stomach. So these are for some of the people who have slightly bulging midriffs. Okay, anarkalis for them work, but there is something called as an empire waist, which is a horizontal line which goes either on the waist or on the top section, but you should avoid those things and try to team it up with the churidar. Then the other structure that we typically say are you have hips which are slightly wider, but you have the shoulders part is very tiny, so to say. So for these people, a sleeveless typically looks nice. A-lines and A-line dresses, A-line kurtas. Try and have a little more embellishment near the neck, because it gives more attention to your face rather than the hips. Okay? For these people, of course, straight trousers are better rather than narrow trousers. You should always have straight ones and cigarette pants, but not very, very fitted. Let them go straight down. Again, avoid short kurtas, avoid patialas, and shalwars or bottoms with very big prints. And I think the last thing is no side pockets, for this size typically. See, all in all, I think without sounding prejudiced, but saris is something that Indian ladies, all structures can carry off beautifully. You don't need to think about the structure. You wear a sari, it hides all the flaws, so to say. A lot of ladies. Yes.
That's a good input, and then saris become a special, what do you say, dressing style. Actually, wow, I like that.
It does, but then if you really are in a hurry, you need to hide your flaws. You have a lot of mindset about something that you think your body structure does not support. A sari always hides those flaws. It always does.
Superb. So, this is the question that we have, and I'm sure there are people who are going to be watching the replay and have more questions. So, ladies, feel free to put in the questions in the comments, and we are still going to answer them for you. And that's really been great. I mean, you have provided so many inputs and so many tips that are very small that can be taken care of, and I'm sure people can use it like this. You don't have to think much. It's easy to remember. Fabulous. Thank you so much. Look at people writing wonderfully answered, nice inputs.
Thank you so much.
Very good inputs. That's nice.
So I always, the one thing that I always tell people is that, the way you dress is how you actually tell the world who you are without you having to speak about it. So pay a little bit of attention.
Absolutely. You are your own brand, so ensure that you make it the best, right? We lost Kavita? Yeah, we lost you. Your voice is not audible now.
Yes, I'm back here.
You're back? Okay. So I was just saying that you are your own brand, and you have to ensure that you carry it well, like the way you like it, so that people view you in the way that you want them to view you, right? Fabulous.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
Thank you. Kavita, I have a last question for you. You are the Transform Her platform. We are lucky to have you here and get so many inputs from you. Tell us your thoughts about Transform Her initiative.
Oh, yes. So I have been associated with Tejaswini for as long as I can remember. It's been a long time since I know her. I know the way she's been thinking. She's got this group of more than 600 women. She's focusing on learning. I think as women entrepreneurs, we all have products. We all have services that sometimes we need the market to know about. We need people to know what we are doing. But a lot of things hold us back. Sometimes we just don't have the resources, or sometimes we are so overwhelmed with the market. So many people are doing the same thing, and you don't know how you're going to get through all that competition and have your product reach people. This sometimes you need a coach, I feel, to help you to where you want to reach, how you want to do it. It's just getting out of your comfort zone. And from what I have seen you doing, Tejaswini, you exactly help people do just that. It's very, very nice. It's a very, very, I would say, an easy way to reach out, a very, very cost effective way. And you absolutely know what the ladies want and how they can come out of their shell and get it down. Especially in the lockdown, I think you've really helped these people to reach, help the ladies to reach where they wanted to. I think it's a beautiful initiative. So Transform Her literally actually transforms the lives of a lot of ladies, where sometimes we don't even realize that we need this kind of thing. So I should really say hats off to you, and thank you, Tejaswini, for all the lovely things that you're doing.
Thank you, Kavita, and that makes it possible only because people like you agree to come on the platform to share your expertise, because I believe each one has a typical expertise, and that is what they can share with the world. And that's what is my whole efforts going to get people like you on this platform, so that we all get this holistic knowledge. It could be related to dressing, it could be related to branding, it could be related to marketing. We've had different women come here and share their expertise. So thank you so much for being here. We are really delighted, and thank you so much for your time.
Most welcome, Tejaswini, and thank you, ladies, for joining in. Anything else required, we can always get across to Tejaswini. I'm here, Poshak is here, Kavita, I'm here. Anytime. It's a pleasure to connect with all of you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Kavita, we would want your number.